your host, Sully, and I'm Emperor of Purgatory. And with me is Ultra Neon Demon, Oreo Brewer.
Yeah, you cocksucker.
Could not help myself.
Love that movie.
Yeah. Oh my god. We decided to talk about Mike Mignola's adapted and approved. That's right. He likes both versions of take on Hellboy. There was 2 Del Toro movies in 2004 and 2008, respectively. There were 2 animated movies that premiered on Cartoon Network, and then there
own them.
Yes, you do. And then there was Neil Marshall's 2019 version by Millennium Films. They all have talking points. They all have reception. We all have something we can identify with. So let's get to it. Hellboy. Why does it just kind of melt the ice? Why does it just... I mean, I have uncles on both sides of my family who like this. Yeah. One of them doesn't really do dark fantasy or horror, but likes this for some reason, a B-movie kind of way, and the other just felt it was no different than, say, a Gremlins, Evil Dead kind of film.
Well, it does have that Dark Crystal vibe, too.
It's Dark Crystal. Yeah, especially the way they talk and reveal everything is like a total Jim Henson Farscape thing.
That's what I like, because you look at the time frame of when the first Hellboy came out, and
comic book movies were iffy still.
Yeah, I'll give you that. A lot of them are still iffy, but some of them still hold charm because it's 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
You have that whole decade of just straight up no competition. Everything came out from different companies. And there was no competition to be, who's the better comic book film. Whereas now it's like, who's the better one? Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, all that shit. But you look at Hellboy, and Hellboy really goes outside of the box when it comes to your superhero portrayal. He's more a loner versus relying on people. And I love that. It's such a great dynamic. And you have Del Toro, who has the most beautiful outside of the box mind with his own style and characters and his own productions, that he's such a good fit for it. And it's wild how good that turned
out. That is a very good point. I mean, because PG-13 was always iffy too, and I mean, a lot of critics have noted the similarities to Indiana Jones. There's a lot of cave crawling and some Nazi war criminal villains, and I think it's kind of that same kind of deal too. It knows how to mix in dark humor. In fact, there's way more dark humor in this. I mean, I have read some of the comics, and I was just like, yeah, but he's way more blunt and kind of more like a physical comedy guy in the Mignola comics. While here, he's kind of more like he has the immortal line, "Oh crap." Loves saying that out, Harvey Fierstein style. Ah, crap.
Yeah.
Do you think this is interesting in that it works for both a PG and an R-rated audience, since the PG-13 rating?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it introduced me to Selma Blair. I knew about her, but I didn't watch many dating comedies. I just knew she was a mental health advocate and just a very cool gal. But John Hurt was in this. And,
yeah, I love him. I miss him.
Yes, rest in peace, buddy. And just the minute even when you just hear his narration before you even see him on screen, I just was instantly like, yeah, he belongs here. And it kind of feels very much like the first 2 X-Men, where you instantly know, maybe even like Batman Begins a year later, just you instantly understand, yes, we're here, we have an underground, don't have to read any of these comics to understand what the fuck's going on, but you know that, again, he got this creature on a hiking trip, he basically perfected him, he's not Frankenstein's monster, he actually has a soul, but he's fighting fire with fire, kind of.
Yeah, definitely. It's like TMNT 2007. Lawrence Fishburne.
There you go.
That was good shit, and I love that film. I rewatched it recently.
I saw your letterbox on it. That's so true.
I know.
And this is why I think is lacking with screenwriting places. They they keep saying, "Oh, shy away from narration." I'm like, well,
Like, no,
only do it
don't.
if you have to. I'm like, well, it doesn't have to be a low budget, we can't film anything error, and it doesn't have to be shitty like the Blade Runner director's cut either. You know, it can be everything you need to know in the first 5 minutes if you really want to, without giving it all away. So I really wish we could have more open discussion on how to make a better narration instead of a first draft that made it into a mainstream movie.
Next podcast, we need to go over some narrators because there's a lot of them that need to be recognized a lot more.
Oh yeah, we're totally going to
Today.
talk voice actors, I promise.
Yes.
But was this your intro to Ron Perlman? I had known him in some of the other Star Trek movies. I never really watched Beauty and the Beast, but I knew that was a thing.
My intro, yeah, looking back, that was my first intro to him, and then
this is like the fifth stage of his career, maybe second, I guess, because he was respected, but he wasn't really seen by everybody.
Yeah, my favorite version of him is definitely In the Name of the Rose from '87.
That's a good movie.
I know it's a weird movie at first, but then you look back and it's like it's Christian Slater's debut role. It's Sean Connery's film just after Highlander, and it's also Ron Perlman's, I think, his outing too. So that was fun.
I haven't seen a bunch of his stuff growing up. Like in college, like I went back. He just seems to be one of those B actors, much like Peter Weller, who's just Lance Henriksen and Tony Todd. He's just very respected. Even Michael Ironside to an extent. He's done just as much, you know, cult movies like The City of Lost Children and Romeo's Bleeding.
Oh, I remember that.
And Sleepwalkers.
Wow. Yeah.
He's made trash watchable like The Ice Pirates and Happy Taxes and Alien 4. But I really, even The Island of Dr. Moreau, he has a brief part there. But like when I see him,
I like that movie.
Oh, there you go. When I saw him in some movies like The Last Supper and When the Bow Breaks, different movie, as well as Quest for Fire, I think that's where I was just like, see, okay, this guy, he's not a dumb actor, and he's not. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of other great actors, but who get typecast.
Oh yeah, Season of the Witch.
Season of the Witch. Yep.
Yeah. And the Nicolas Cage.
Someone had to do it.
Pairing ever, but so good.
Oh my god, it's an insane movie. Insane movie. So when I see him in these different movies, I think he stands out, I guess, because you understand why he's here. You don't feel like he was forced at gunpoint to do it. Somehow, I guess, I don't know if it's because of his theater background. I don't know if it's because he's done a lot of made-for-TV movies and recurring TV roles and voiceovers. I don't know.
I wouldn't mind seeing him do The Conqueror.
There you go. He should totally do some kind of tyrant movie. He's earned it.
Oh god, this is funny. I am Timothy. Like, yeah, eat your heart out, John Wayne.
Yeah, John Wayne. I'm not getting stomach cancer this time. When I see him in just like even a regular like drama, like a downtown drama, like I just feel like he belongs, as opposed to an actor who's like Michael Wincott, who's good but almost always a villain or a shithead. You know, somehow he's able to just kind of backpedal, and he's able to do some of these different European movies. And he
even narrated Strain audiobook too.
The Strain audiobooks, okay.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. I was like, wow, he's a narrator too. Great.
Someone had to do it. Yeah. Even when I see him in like a direct-to-video movie, because everybody does this once in a while, like Bunraku or Scorpion King Free, I'm like, yeah, he probably had fun. He's probably got some funny stories.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh man. Yeah, he owns this role. I guess you could say he
perfected it.
Who else could have even done it?
I can't even imagine anyone. I mean, everybody hated David Harbour's rendition because he was too loud. I'm like, you do realize that Hellboy is that kind of character, even though he's a loner, he can be loud.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to that in a minute. I mean, I don't understand why we even get to this point where we say this is. To me, that's the Superman type gatekeeping going on, where no, Superman doesn't kill. Since when does he not?
Have you even read the fucking comics?
Yeah, I mean, I used to have a damn puzzle of Superman, and in that puzzle, when you put it together, he's punching through 5 different robots. So,
oh my god, he hates robots. He's a robot.
Yeah, you tell me what he's supposed to represent.
I know, like, people forget that Superman is a mantle and a title, not one person.
I mean, I like that wording. He's definitely got a mantle to lean on. But, I mean, how else would you want him?
I know. It's like, oh man, oh. But it's like going back. It's all about character and how you have the Gen. It goes back to Gen Gap easily because everybody grew up with a certain type of era, and with Hellboy, you have the Ron Perlman era, you have David Harbour era, you have the animated era, which is still Ron Perlman, but you have everybody who likes the animated version, whatever live action, like versa. And then you have those that just hate all of it and don't care for it, but they'll still watch it because they have nothing else to bitch about.
I'm so glad you say that. I just had the Video Dropbox podcast on, and they talked about how they would go to all kinds of movies, like Final Destination 2, Freddy vs. Jason, and they would have the most. They were like, you think it's bad now with, people being assholes during the movie. It's like they had people who would just explode with anger during the movie. And it's like, no one is forcing you to go to these movies.
I know. That's what's so
if
stupid.
If you don't want to go, don't go. But don't ruin other people's enjoyment.
I know. It's like I went to see Blue Beetle this past weekend.
How was it?
And it was good. I enjoyed it.
George Lopez looked funny.
Oh, God. Him with the fucking rats. It's good, but like my biggest thing was the humor, and a mom came in with her family.
Forced.
Yeah,
happens.
It does happen. But this mom comes in, she's got 3 boys and a baby, and I see the baby, I'm like, oh, I gotta smother somebody. But to my luck, the baby was actually well behaved, and the kids gave a standing ovation at the end.
There you go, soccer mom. You're not going to dispute this. Yeah.
I was like, damn, this is nice. The baby didn't throw a fit.
Yeah, for once.
I didn't have to break out sleepy time formula. But yeah, it's like you look at everything, and the biggest thing I've seen out of every film is that people, they've had these stupid subconscious high expectations,
and then they try to breathe it into other people. Is like, think what I must think because I feel insecure if you don't think the way I do.
Oh, I tweeted and quote tweeted this director and these actors, and they liked what I said, so they must agree with me the same. So when I go and meet them at the next con, they'll know exactly who I am and be like, yeah, I recognize you. We share the same hive mind mentality. Like, no, that's not how this works.
Yeah, it never happens that way.
Nope.
I mean, and then when you even tell them the world would be boring if we all thought the same way, they always look at you like, huh? Yeah, I'm talking to you, dumbass. Yeah,
I know. It's like,
I don't want people to think like me. Because then that just tells me I'm a tyrant. I'm a martyr. You must be like me.
Yeah, for real. Like,
why do that?
Yeah. I wouldn't mind if people thought like me because I'm more outside the box, but I'm kind of like an asshole about it. But at least I have a wider perception on things versus such a closed-minded.
I mean, as long as you can just sleep at night with this, but there's people like this who are just so shameless, but to the point where it's like, oh my Lord, come on.
Prime example is literally David Ayer's tweets. And it's so sad, and he's even pointed it out. He's like, why are you so angry about this?
I love that, man. Great East LA movies. I actually, not to be confused with Goyer, but I instantly, uh, when his show Deputy got canceled, I told him, why don't they understand your show? And he just like replied with like a shoulder shrug. Yeah, he's like, well, at least you tuned in, which is all that matters. I was like, awesome, dude.
I still want to know what his favorite scene or frame is from the air cut of Suicide Squad.
That's a good question because he's got plenty of inspirations. Obviously, it starts off with a lot of Sidney Lumet, Dog Day Afternoon, Serpico type stuff, but he does seem to have a bunch of other favorite war movies. And I know he said that if he ever was given a chance to do a Star Wars movie, he would have it be a horror movie on Hoth, where you're hunted by the Wampa. I'm like, see, this is a guy who should have been given a proper chance, and instead, every time they either give him an under budget movie or a straight to Netflix movie, or they give him Suicide Squad and they take it away from him. So this is not cool. This is a dude who, much like Michael Mann, I have admired all of his East LA crime movies, and they inspire me. I quote them on a regular basis. I watch them every 5 years. I promise we're definitely going to do tons of episodes about them, but I mean, I don't understand, with so many people who like a lot of his movies, why one film should put a dent in someone's resume and that should be off with their head, remove them.
That doesn't make any fucking sense. That'd be like if everybody crucified the shit out of David Harbour, his role in Hellboy.
Right, like, you do Stranger Things, but when you don't, we hate you.
I know. It's such a fucking double. It's so contradicting. It's like, oh, we love you as a sheriff, but no, you can't be Hellboy.
You can't exist. You can't exist.
It's like, dude, it's a fucking movie.
I do this. You and I have fun kind of just seeing how many snobs there are in comic books out there. I always do this to the Marvel guys. I'm like, name a role by Tom Hiddleston that's not a Loki. They can't name a single one. Every time. And I'm like, My Lovers Left Alive, War Horse. Man, you guys suck. Get out. Your ass.
Tom would have been good in Lost.
I could see him in something like that. I could even see him or Lee Pace as one of the demons in this movie franchise.
Yeah, definitely.
So did you see, I was fortunate to see all three of these in the theater. You said you saw the, offline before we get started, you saw the cartoons by Anchor Bay first, and then...
I actually bought the first movie on DVD.
Okay.
And then I found out there was a director's cut, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I need that.
I think it's just more extensions of his mutations, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was more on Rasputin's origin.
Oh.
Yeah, there was more on Rasputin in the director's cut.
I think that's why people like it too. It's going into all kinds of other folklore. It's not just Lovecraftian or demons. It's
fun.
It really is. Somehow it's digestible.
Yeah.
Having rewatched it a few times, I think. I mean, we'll get to it here in a bit. Movie one just moves really, really prompt. I think.
Yeah.
And
because it lays the ground out for what it's the whole point of a comic book film is to A, introduce the character, B, introduce the environment, C, introduce where they are in their life, D, who their allies are and enemies are, and E, who the main bad guy is. And then after that's over, and villain's defeated or whatever, and then it's like, oh, the villain's back, and they're like, you're left with that. You're like, oh, I want a sequel, but I also want to read more about them, and I want to know everything I can. And then that is your gateway ticket to go to the library, get all the comics, or get the compendiums, or get a whole fucking omnibus set, and kick back and read up on who this character is, and maybe even read up on or watch the directors or writers' filmography that they have.
That's a good point. But that's kind of mind blowing in a way too. I mean,
Yeah. Because it's a lot of talk points for one film. Whereas Hellboy has all them talk points, but it doesn't label itself as a superhero film. It's literally, it's kind of lumped in there with the demon films and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at it and you're like, Hellboy, whoa, what's this? Is he a hero or is he an anti-hero, or is he just, one of them sci-fi burners on Sunday?
He's more of a Godzilla, where he's pretty much here to clean out the Earth from evil, but he's not your go-to hero or even an anti-hero. He's just doing his job. He's a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah.
You could almost equate Hellboy with RoboCop because they're so down to earth and grounded.
I like that.
And yet they have CBM roots, but you don't see that at first. And then you go back and you read up and you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I didn't know it was a CBM-based deal. And then you want to know more, and then you explore the filmography of everybody involved, and it goes from A to B to E. It's amazing.
Wild.
I know.
So apparently this was supposed to be filmed back in '98, and Blade got made, but Del Toro it sounds like he just wasn't good at communicating this to the stupid executives.
Or the executives are like, oh, we don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. And on the Rasputin thing, apparently that's the main thing in the director's cut. I'm reading it here is just they show how he has some glass eyes and he had to gouge it out, but I
thought that was cool as hell, though. I was like, wow, he's got glass eyes. He lost his fucking eyes.
Yeah,
like,
Carol Roden. You've seen him in probably Born Supremacy and Running Scared. He's been in one of those many just actors who if you need a European baddie, he's pretty much your go-to guy.
Or you can get Brian Thompson. He'd literally.
Oh, there you go. Oh my God, I would love to see Brian Thompson in this. Oh, man.
Oh God, it'd be fun. I love him. Like, he's so good in X-Files, and when you hear him first talk, when he meets Mulder, it's like, what? This motherfucker talks?
He reminds me of Franco Columbo and some of those other Schwarzenegger, Dolph Lundgren knockoff guys, where they're a bad guy in every mainstream movie they're in, and yet in every direct-to-video made-for-TV movie, they're like a hero in a Commando knockoff. So
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, as the alien bounty hunter, that would be a fun matchup. Pitch that to the Who Would Win team.
God, that'll be fun.
Alien bounty hunter versus Hellboy. People would be like, who the hell's the other guy? I'm like, oh, you guys suck. Go rewatch the X-Files. I'm rewatching it now. It still holds up. I can watch it anytime, anywhere.
Oh, definitely.
That and Tales from the Crypt. I just go to bed. You will have a chuckle in a perfect way. It leaves you with more to think about than even a Twilight Zone episode. And I love Twilight Zone. I'm just saying.
Which Twilight Zone? Yeah, which one? Because there's the original black and white, there's the 80s edition, and the 80s movie.
I'm definitely like the first two a lot, but I'm in the process of rewatching the 2000s and the new one.
Yeah, there's the 2002 version. I love that.
Yeah, it seems to be very divided. I don't know why. It just seems like everybody wants to divide it. Well, unfortunately, they're all on YouTube, so I mean.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because the thing I liked about the 2002 edition was Forrest Whitaker being the narrator. I was like, dude, Forrest, my boy, I love him.
He is.
And then my one friend's like, oh, that's Dayquil, NyQuil. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Oh my God. I have met a lot of people in my life who have also made fun of his eye condition. I'm like, you guys have no soul.
And I'm like, that's not funny, but it is.
Right. It's one of those dark things. It's like, it'd be funny if the person saying it wasn't such a douche.
I know, right?
Like, that's all they're saying. It's like, Perlman, I guess, I don't know if it's just his comedic dialogue or just the fact that he's just, again, he already had been in so many makeup heavy roles and B pictures, and here was just, he could do this in his sleep. So
that's right. I just remembered that shit from Twilight Zone. Shit.
Oh my God.
I know. And then we'll get back to Hellboy.
Yeah, Hellboy would totally be perfect in a Twilight Zone show.
in the one episode, John Delancey is a guest. And in the background of that episode, you can see the command center from Power Rangers.
Oh my God.
I know. I was like, I recognize that. He went to Zordon.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, no fucking way.
Zordon.
That's Q versus Zordon.
I would love to see that. A Q versus Star Trek or Hellboy. There you go.
There you go. That was fun. Yeah, like Perlman, yeah, he's definitely done like the hair, the makeup, because he did that in The Name of the Rose as or I want to say it.
In The Name of the Rose, yeah,
where he was like
all that complexion he puts on, as the priest.
Yeah, but he also had the facial makeup too, because he was an outcast.
Facial. Right? I'm just kidding. No, it's a good point. I think overall, here's a term that none of us fucking knew growing up, but we know now just because we watch enough documentaries and everything. I think it's his staging. Mm-hmm. When I grew up, I didn't give a shit about that because film school didn't tell me shit about that. I learned about that just in more recent years and was like, no, staging is everything. Staging is everything you need to set a scene, and he knows how to walk in a scene. I'm not saying he's near Cagney level, but I'm saying he's near Cagney level.
Yeah, thinking about staging, that applies to everybody I know that I like. Idris Elba, Kim Manners, when they directed X-Files, I was like, oh, every time I come on, I'm like, oh.
Everyone else directing? Is about the money shots and the where the gore's going to spit on the camera and all that, and he's worried about here's a suspenseful angle, here's a freaky angle. And here's an angle where we're going to add a freaky music score to later versus have a oh shit look on someone's face.
Yeah.
No, rest in peace, Kim. You're a good director. You should have even done some theatrical movies given his talent.
I'd be so excited when he popped up. Like, who directed? Kim Manners. Like,
Kim Manners. I do the same thing with John Cassar when I see him helm episodes of Orville, FBI, and 24. I'm like, yep. TV's Hitchcock in the house here. He's going to give me a gotcha moment. He's going to have a very intense look on someone's face. There's going to be a very shocking, gunshot wound or emotional, just people losing their shit. I love it. As a lot of these directors also, similar to Manners, have made a killing doing like endless episodes of Highlander, Criminal Minds, Millennium, and even just other anthology shows. To Joe Chappelle's another favorite of mine. He would help out with Dimension Films quite a lot, and I think that's what this also avoids being. It's not a Dimension Films just slugfest where we're here to see a famous actor kind of ham it up, and altogether, I guess they really just. They know how to just kind of make you just think about very deeply why these guys rock.
Yeah, it's like when I look back at Twilight Zone, the series from the 80s, you can literally tell that everybody in that project was it was like their first tryout and everything. And I love that.
Yeah. And they knew how to use their stages and everything, and just that they were so dialed in.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I mean, you could see like they were really exploring new things and trying new avenues, and it really paid off.
Yeah, I in fact, if they want to revisit Hellboy in any way, shape, or form and have an anthology, let's make it happen. Let's do it.
Definitely.
So let me see. Did Hellboy film score was it by Marco Beltrami? No, that was by.
I like the animated films the most, but Hellboy 2 will always be my top favorite.
No, it's fine. I mean, I will give them some credit where credit's due. I think the first one was way better. Second one kind of lost me. It was kind of all over the place, but I just loved in general, like Yes, it was Marco Beltrami. I thought so. It had Blade 2 vibes. One thing that's I find kind of a little just annoying is that, much like we were talking about film bloopers and everything, online and offline, a lot of people talk about how you can clearly see wires holding up Hellboy each time he jumps. I'm like, yeah, but that's after. That's if you've seen it too many times.
True. The thing that people got pissy about was how it was labeled, 2019 was labeled as a reboot, and that's not exactly true.
Yeah, and you know what? And so, well, with movie 2, I felt like that was kind of a rehash. There was some fun action, but I didn't really like the story there. Seth MacFarlane was funny. I feel like
I really dug how it went beyond, like explored more of Hellboy's universe, and I really enjoyed that.
I guess I always meant to play the video game, which had a cameo by Bruce Campbell. I remember seeing promoted.
I can't stand that motherfucker.
Is he annoying on social media or?
No, he insulted one of my artist friends when she went to meet him.
Ah.
He's a very misogynistic asshole.
Oh dear, I thought that was him and Ash mode. Damn.
Yeah, because she met him, and she was excited to meet him too. And he's like, he asked her, he's like, who did you shake your tits at to get your job? I'm like, oh.
Whoa.
I'm like, are you shitting me?
Damn.
Yeah. I was like, that's cool. I was like, oh, he's so cool. He's funny. He's nice. I'm like,
in what society? Yeah.
For real. But yeah, 2019 Hellboy. That is a prequel to the 2004 film, actually.
I did hear them saying some cryptic stuff where it's like, yeah, he says something like, this is not my first rodeo. So it's like, and that's what I couldn't believe, though. It's just, I saw this instantly and I went in with low expectations. I wasn't expecting anything. I was just like, hey, this looks fun. I was sold instantly because they had scorpions, rocking like a hurricane in Mexican. But like, Harbor's voice sounded almost exactly like Pearlman. The makeup was really damn cool, and I just could not help noticing just everybody was attacking it before it was even out. And if you were defending it, they were acting like you were associated with the movie, and I was just like, you have got to get a room, guys.
Yeah, the biggest thing was Daniel Day Kim and Ed Sheeran, I think.
Oh yeah, this asshole from the bad guy from Deadpool, who was also in Game of Thrones. Basically, whoever was in charge of casting fucked up and didn't realize, no, this is meant for
an Asian,
an Oriental
and
person.
Ed bowed out properly. Like, he didn't throw a fit. He's like, no, let Daniel have the role. And I'm like, wow,
absolutely.
And I watched it, and I'm like, Ed could have pulled it off too, because I was watching, and I was like, imagined Ed in the role, and I'm like, it could have went both ways.
But it really could have.
Yeah, that's why when I watched Terminator Salvation Director's Cut, you could switch Bale and Sam, and it would play out either way.
That's a good point, and I have talked about this a few different times. A lot of people were like, hey, why did they add this and that to, Genesis? Is like, because they were reusing stuff that was abandoned from the original cut of Salvation, but once the script got leaked on the internet, they had to change the ending. And originally it was the Marcus cyborg guy, the original Connor dies and Marcus takes over, hence why John Connor's a cyborg. But no,
oh wow, that's cool as fuck.
It really is, and
I got goosebumps, man. That's why.
Wow, it changes it up. It changes it.
It does. It's like fuck.
And Jonathan Nolan, I know, was applauded a lot for his rewrites on that, but altogether, I mean, I don't know what they expect. Like,
people expect too much shit, and when if you have a franchise, which everybody, oh shit, I left my trash. Holy fuck! Okay,
I have too much trash here.
No, I just looked to my left and I saw a bag of cereal I left on the chair. Nice. All right, I'll get that later. Oopsies.
Oops.
But you look at a franchise, and every franchise has that film that set the precedent. You have the first one, that's the foundation. You have
Yep.
the second one, that's the moneymaker, usually. Then you
Usually.
have your third one, which, if it ever gets past 3, is either good, poor, or mixed reviews. If you get super lucky and you have 4, 5, 6, or even 12 films in a series, plus TV show spinoffs and shit.
Yes. Oh my god.
You have different landmark benches for this shit. And with Terminator, you have T2, and everybody compares Salvation to T2. It's not like Cameron's outing. I'm like, it's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, you look at T2 and there's no sex in it. I'm very proud of that. I'm happy for that. But
especially the unrated. Like, there's nudity, but it's not to make it sexual. It's just to show that he's acknowledging his human and that he can imitate a human hormone.
It's the quintessential action R-rated flick that everybody wants to make. Can't, because that was lightning in a bottle.
Oh, just you wait. I'm really surprised when I went to see Blade Runner 2049 how there weren't any
good.
It was a lot of fun, but I was really surprised how there weren't any prudes in the audience. But I was waiting. I was waiting for it because it just seemed like that's the thing to do. You know, people take shit just so seriously to where you're just like, get a room.
My only problem with 2049 was, and it's a very small thing. It's not that big. I have astigmatism, so there were a lot of dark scenes. So
it was pretty dark in some stuff,
and it was hard to see. I'm like, I even put that in my review. I'm like, if you go see this, you might want to sit in the first 4 rows so you can actually see it, because up high, the darker scenes are a lot harder to see, and if you have astigmatism, it's really going to fuck with your vision. But damn, that movie really outdid its predecessor. I'm like, this is wild.
Yeah.
And Ryan Gosling in that, like, you equate him with every romance flick ever known, and then he does this, and it's like, wow, he can really do something fucking serious.
I knew some people who were attached to it because of Drive. I'm like, no. See, this is him serving the story as opposed to playing to the camera like he usually does.
But damn, he really outdid it in Barbie. Oh.
I haven't seen it yet. But
dude, you have to see Barbie.
Did you say so?
It's that fucking funny, and it's that fucking good. And wow. But back to Hellboy.
Back to Hellboy.
Because everything ties together, but it goes so off course, but it's still connected. Like, if Hellboy had a series, that would be amazing, because then you could really explore a lot more. It would just be very expensive for the artists and the hairstylists involved. I actually was scrapbooking my newspapers the other day because I had a stack of them to go through, and I discovered that because of all the WGA strikes, hairstylists and colorists and makeup artists are actually struggling to get jobs too.
I believe it. I mean, I feel for wardrobe, I feel for stunts, I feel for location managers who have to put up with everyone's, whether you're organized or a stuck up, hack with no imagination. The unit guy has to make all those phone calls just to see if they can rent out a stadium for a day,
Yeah. It's a trip. Yeah, I would like the Hellboy series, but the films, they're like, if I had to rank them all, it would be 2 2019's, the director's cut for the first one, Sword of Storms, and Blood and Iron. And then the other little shorts that they made in between.
I mean, there is some interesting set design in this new version. I mean,
definitely, it really explores a lot. And the fact that he went full evil, I love that.
Yeah, that gave it more of a fun Constantine, Wishmaster kind of thing. And I love that kind of stuff where you have gory humor, a Neil Gaiman approach. And I looked at the writer. He apparently created the show Eureka, which kind of made sense to me. It had that kind of zaniness, which is what it needed. But here's the other thing. Like, I saw so many people just struggling to come up with just stuff to bash it. And they're like, the director, Neil Marshall, didn't attend the premiere. I'm like, yeah, well, Neil's a very opinionated man. I still respect him.
And Steven Spielberg doesn't film the final scene of his film, so fuck off.
Yeah, and Scorsese hates anything that's not his movie, so what is your point? And I like Scorsese.
Speaking of Scorsese, I found this is cool. His new movie that's out with DiCaprio.
DiCaprio, yeah.
Yeah. I'm afraid of the number 25. The indigenous people that are in the film, they call him Uncle Marty because of where they filmed the movie at. I was like, that's so sweet.
I hear he's a nice guy, which is so funny because you just don't know. With all his violent movies, you almost expect him to be kind of like the.
Yeah, it's like Joe Pesci. Everybody expected Joe Pesci to be this violent person.
Oh,
He's actually a fucking Christian. I'm like, what? He's a Christian? No way. I was like, yeah, he is. Okay, that's cool.
That is wild. That reminds me of that SNL skit they did. He and De Niro come up to people and they're just like, yeah, we're not like our on-screen people, and then they start beating the guy.
I remember that. That was funny. I kind of wish Ron Perlman had been in Battlefield Earth.
If he could do another take on the script, make it, I don't know, make a better sense instead of be camp, maybe.
I like that movie. Everybody hates the hell out of it. I
love parodying it. I mean, it has its place in the world. It's a great riff tracks. It's not unwatchable as we make it be, but it is just kind of one of those, I think, because of the overacting by Travolta and the confusing predicaments in the second half. I think that's why people get lost on it. But Roger Christian has done a bunch of other really fun and surreal horror and sci-fi movies that are worth a watch. He's actually best friends with Tarantino. And here's the thing. He saw the premiere with his buddies, George Lucas and Tarantino, and they both liked it. So once you hear that, it makes a little better sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like people...
They're all kids.
I know. It's like if you bring your friends and shit, it's fun. But then me, I don't bring nobody with me because I don't want to hear no talking. I'm like, shut up, watch the movie, enjoy it. And you have everybody who does that, and then if they didn't like it, they get toxic about it, and then they get more toxic about it. And it gets to the point like, you can't watch this because it's so bad. I still get made fun of for liking Fantastic 2015. I'm like, dude, have you even watched it, or are you just bullshitting and parroting everybody else's opinions?
Out of all the other ones, I would rank it the second best. I know a lot of people like to surrender to the 2000s one, but the 2000s one is just so derivative. The 90s one is fun in a video game way, but I mean, I want to see a better version of the 2015 one. I want to see the on-tamper director's cut, but everyone is acting like damage is done, damage is done. I'm like, no, there is a second chance for every movie.
Definitely.
Johnny Mnemonic. I keep preaching to the choir on that one. Most people, only like maybe a quarter of people will give it another chance. And they're like, does it have more? I'm always asked, does it have more scenes with Dolph and Takashi Kitano? I'm like, yes, it does. And that's the reason the movie sucked. They cut out all the scenes that didn't have the main characters in. So the movie made no sense.
Justice League is another prime example of that shit.
I love the new version Justice League.
I know. I was like, oh my god, it unfolds like every comic I've ever read. Like, it's too fucking long, it's boring, there's no point, there's no story. Have you even,
I mean, to be fair, Fantastic Four was bashed before it was even coming out, because I saw one person say, Johnny Storm's played by a black guy. I'm like, see...
Yeah, that's the biggest fucking issue. Nobody likes to change the guard. It's like they have Aryan.
I mean, if you can like canon films all of a sudden, but I see people acting like now you can like it because of all the documentaries that are out about it. It's like, no, fuck it. There were people who grew up on American Ninja and Death Wish movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like what you like.
I know, it's like, if I had to make a Fantastic Four film, I would go with Jeffrey Wright. I would go with Janelle Monáe. I would go with Michael B. Jordan, and I would pick Forrest Whitaker for the film easily.
There you go.
Because all of them have the emotional range for the roles.
They can take something like this seriously.
Yeah, for real. Because it's supposed to be family oriented, but also serious because they're saving the world from different crises. But they also have their own internal shit going on and dealing with their powers. And I would love to see that happen, but people want to gatekeep race so goddamn hard. It's like, grow up.
Yep. And if you even just have an actor who's like half, oh, that's not good enough.
That's even funny. Can you like hide their half? Can you like digitally de-age? Can you de-race them in the film?
That's why I didn't like Crazy Rich Asians, because A, it was a generic story that everyone made such a scene over, and B, I saw all those people doing the whole, I should have gone the audition, and yet they weren't anywhere near the ethnicity. I saw a Japanese guy audition. I saw a half Korean guy audition, and I was just like, okay, well, pot kettle black.
I know, right? It's like, I liked Crazy Rich Asians. It was good, but I don't need to watch it again. It was
I
all
like
right.
the show,
cool. Yeah, definitely.
I'm just a hard ass. That's my main problem. That I am a hard ass.
Like, I'll take the Joy Luck Club over Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh, well, see, that's why that was another thing. I was like, Golden Gate and and Joy Luck Club were so meaningful. Even Casualties of War and so many other movies about understanding the East and West divide to me. And so when I saw that, I was just like blown away. But I think that's the other thing. So many movies, if you're going to make a copy of another movie, make sure it's a damn good copy. Like, if you're going to make an awesome action movie, have it be an awesome Executive Decision or Speed knockoff instead of just we're imitating John McClane or Jack Bauer and with a unbelievable miscast actor who can't do fighting or even carry a fucking movie. And I see that too with mysteries and dramas. Like, I'll see people rip off like LA Confidential or just something else where I'm just like, yeah, but
I've seen better.
I've seen so much better.
I know, it's like, and what really cracks me up with Hellboy is no one really talks about it as much because
I see people who don't even want to give it a chance, and I'm like, "Are you for real?"
Oh my god!
Like, what's the one demon creature that's in this? It has a particular name.
The pig. Yeah, the pig creature.
There was the pig creature, and then there was like a few other ones, and I saw some people saying those were the only highlights. I'm like, oh, there's plenty of other highlights. I mean, but that was a good voiceover, though. His name was he's from Boardwalk Empire and every other British show. The Baba Yaga is what they were talking about. But
okay.
Yeah, Stephen Graham, was the voice of that, and I thought interesting because I was wondering who his voice was the whole movie, and it's like, awesome.
Yeah, that's like when I was. It's funny when I was watching DC Super Pets. I couldn't place who the fuck Crypto's voice was. I couldn't. I'm like, I know that motherfucker's voice. Who is that? And then I get to the credits and it's Dwayne Johnson. Like, it's The Rock, really?
He's got to pay those bills, baby.
Oh no, it's funny.
So Sasha Lane is from San Marcos, Texas. I thought she did really good here as the female gal here. She's now on Loki, apparently.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm not in Loki, but as Alice, I thought she did good here.
Yeah, I think the main problem with Hellboy, and it's not even Hellboy's fault. This is so stupid. People they won't watch it unless it's Marvel or DC, or if they don't know what it is, they won't watch it. And I hate that. Like, there was one dude.
It's so hot.
I know. It's so dumb. One dude would not watch Spawn because he wasn't Black Panther. I'm like, what the fuck kind of...
What does that even mean?
I'm like, that makes no fucking sense. I'm like, have you... He's not Marvel. I'm like, he's fucking Image, you idiot.
Well, they got to realize, too, that when you have some immortal appeal, like, people were going to see this one regardless because Mila Jovovich was the villainess in this. I thought she did great as the Blood Queen.
Yeah,
I
she
thought
did.
she
really
wasn't
did.
even playing typical Mila Jovovich, Ukrainian. Yeah, she was kind of more her evil Fifth Element character mixed in with, but like the main delight for me was Lobster Johnson. I had heard about that character. I hadn't seen him in the particular comics, but another moment I was like, who is that guy? The vigilante who's going out. He's like Deadpool, but even more of a motor mouth. And I'm like, oh, Thomas Hayden Church. Oh, that's hysterical. And again, yeah, Daniel Day Kim really did good as the feral agent with some mutant powers. That was just this was like a better version of R.I.P.D., which is fun if imperfect. But this, to me, this kind of both versions of Hellboy kind of have a Men in Black kind of appeal to me.
Yeah, because it's like you have 3
Alien
films.
Nation, yeah.
You got them films, and then you have your different casts in it, and you wonder which one's going to be better. How did it pan out? And after a while, people gravitate to whichever one they like the most. They're like, I saw this because it was in theaters, and I had a really shitty day, and it made me feel better. Or you have the ones that are like, oh, I was so sad, and then this just made me angrier. And it's like, then don't watch it again.
There's that, and then there's, well, maybe just go to it when you're ready to see it. There's no
exactly.
But yeah, this was produced by Lawrence Gordon. He's done a lot of big stuff for Fox, and it was by the Millennium Films guys. I mean, the music alone gave me an Expendables film, but I mean, so I thought they did good with the Bulgarian locations. Was it a box office hit? It made 55.1 on a 15 million budget. Does that come out? Did that get it done?
I thought the budget was like 100 mil because I'm so used to that shit. Or was it 120 or something? I forget.
Okay, so it's apparently a bomb, but
yeah, it did bomb.
Well, but I keep seeing articles saying there's a sequel in the works called they're saying it's called The Crooked Man.
Oh yeah, I saw a little note about that, but I don't know if it'll ever come to fruition.
Yeah, it's looking iffy. Either way, people who I thought would like this, again, I've seen my co-host John does not like it, but he doesn't think it's the worst thing in the world. It just wasn't amusing to him. I thought it was better than the Hellboy, or not Hellboy, Deadpool sequels. I was like, see, this is way more wittier. Yeah, I've seen some other people who are gore hounds really eat this one up. There's some all right special features on the Blu-ray, but you definitely appreciate the palette colors way more.
Yeah, like I actually bought the steel book at Wallywood.
Oh, sweet.
I know, I was surprised because I was digging in the movie bin and there were some steel books in there. I was like, there's steel books. And the bin said $5, and I'm like, no fucking way, this thing's $5. And I got it rung up, and one was like $5. I'm like, fuck, that's mine.
That is yours. Yeah.
It's just wild because you look back at the last decade, and it came out during the boom of the MCU and DC and their war and all that shit, and it gets forgotten because of that.
Well, and they did. This wasn't too ambitious. Like the after the credits stuff was pertaining to the movie. It was kind of more like the Mignola-esque Monkey Bone in a way, where it's just like it's trying to do its own wacky world. And I do like the contrast to Spawn. I wasn't crazy about the Spawn movie. I know you are, but I love the Spawn character and the cartoon. I think everyone likes the character Spawn. It's just we got to get someone else beside, someone else to pitch it, since Todd McFarlane seems to love to piss everyone off, and everyone else seems to. I'm sorry, Jamie Foxx is not going to be Spawn. You cannot tell me otherwise.
I don't know. We'll find out, man. I'm anxious to see how he does it because you look at his career. He started out with comedy, then he segued into dramas. Yes. And then he went back to comedy and then did some more dramas. So
give me Will Smith.
Ew, fuck Will Smith. Ew, God, that'd be disgusting.
Give me anybody. Give me Idris Elba. Jamie Foxx is just a terrible track record with superhero movies, whether it's Project Power or Spider-Man 2. Oh my god.
I did like him as Electro. That's the only thing I liked about him in
His
that.
voice was so grating. Oh my god. I think my issue is when I see him in a movie, he's not really the best part of it.
Well, it's because the focus is supposed to be on the main character, and then
but even Horrible Bosses, anyone else could have stolen that movie, and I just don't get anything from him. I just feel like he is so content pre-Oscar bait, just doing bad reality shows that he doesn't take acting that serious anymore, which sucks because if you're in the damn movie, you should take this way more serious than you do.
Yeah, it's true. I would also say,
either way, Spawn is definitely due for another revisit. I don't know how they're
director's cut, man. That director's cut. It's such a perfect CBM, and people hate it because of the special effects and all the other shit. I'm like, dude, you literally get Spawn, you get a cameo from Angela, you get to see Sam and Twitch.
I like the practical stunts. I just have an issue with just some of the actors just so out of tune, not taking it serious.
And it's let's see what else. There were literally two changes to it. They changed Jessica was supposed to be Chapel, but they switched it. And I didn't mind that. I was like, all right, whatever. And then the name of the organization that he was a part of was also changed. I'm like, that's not bad. 2 fucking changes, and it's an accurate comic film? That's not bad. That's pretty fucking good.
And by an independent label, you know?
We'll return after these messages.
If you like small-town mystery, crazy news, and wild history, then the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast is for you. Each week, Josh Mills and Wayne McCarty bring you the absolute best Florida has to offer. So if you're looking for a show that's safe for the family, but funny enough to help you escape everyday life, then listen to the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast. That's Florida Men, plural, on Florida Man podcast.
Hey, it's Brent Pope, the host of Breakfast with Brent Pope. You've seen me on some of your favorite TV shows saying things like, "Give it up, Jimmy. You got to sink this putt to win." On Breakfast with Brent Pope, I sit down with guests from the entertainment world, and we do it all over breakfast. Or should I say Brentfast? Every week on Brentfast, you get inside Hollywood info and tips, great breakfast wrecks and booty debates. Most of all, you get the most delightful 30 minutes of your week. So dig in. It's Brentfast time. Listen at Brentfast.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever fine podcasts are found.
The Jacked Up Review Show podcast is honored to be part of the Blind Knowledge Podcast Network. Join anytime, talk the talk, and enjoy yourselves. There's something enlightening for everyone with this crowd of cool cats. Check them out.
Yeah, for real.
Much like The Crow, it was like IDW, Imagine Comics or something, so...
Yeah, Crow...
Yeah.
I forget what Crow's under. I'll have to look that up then. Yeah.
It's kind of weird how we're past even that stage. Like, other than these Tim Burton movies, other than Crow and Spawn having these sci-fi, action, fantasy combos, you know, Hellboy's kind of like the last of that along with Blade, but now it's still kind of just a diamond in the rough. Like, it seems like we still... Why do you think studios keep doing the whole R-rated movies don't make money? Even though that has been shown time and again that is bullshit. Alien, Terminator, and especially Blade. All make money.
For real.
Deadpool makes shit tons of money.
Even Blade was... The funny thing about Blade, the series of Blade anyway, the long forgotten series nobody wants to talk about.
Yeah.
I love that shit. That series is so good because it was not only helmed by Jeff Johns, it also, its biggest demographic was women.
Yes.
I was surprised by that. I was like, wow.
I know a lot of gals who like it, yeah.
And it's amazing. It's like, and it was interesting because you got Sticky Fingers as Blade, and I'm like, that's an odd fit given his whole career.
Yeah.
But it panned out, and it was really good. And you look at everything R-rated that made so much money, and I
don't know why it keeps coming back to it. It's like, yeah, the ones that do bad are bad,
Yeah, but it doesn't have to define that label.
It doesn't. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Taken movies and Transporter movies are technically R-rated, but they sped up some shots and cut out some language, and they got a PG-13 rating in the U.S. But I think that's the end too. And they have the unrated cut, but I mean, I'm noticing that too with even more PG-13. Like The Flash gets very violent near the end. Say what you will about the movie, but I'm just like, see, they allow way more if it's a dramatic arc, or if there's not too many close-ups of people getting shot in the head, or if it's more of a war western and it's not meant to be shocking. But other times they just freak out. I mean, you look at the unrated version of Chronicles of Riddick, and you're just like, this would have almost gotten an R. This is no different than Lord of the Rings. But is it because Lord of the Rings blood is black and this has a few red shots? This is not. Again, there's a decapitation, but again, it's no different than a James Bond or Zorro movie. You know, it's.
Well, James Bond is basic as fuck.
Yeah. No, if you were to re-rate all those '60s movies, they would not get a PG or PG-13 rating. But
it's like The Fog. The Fog is a prime example of R being mislabeled. It's literally like a hard PG.
Yeah, it's just someone.
But for that time frame, it was R.
Mm-hmm. There's plenty of movies you would see on TV all the time, and then you wouldn't get them from the store because you're like, "Uh-oh, it's R." And it's like,
for real. I don't know. It's so strange. It's like you look at an R-rated film, and normally, like back then, it was always about if it was rated R, you were guaranteed to see tits and ass, and that was always a selling point, no matter fucking what.
Oh, look at war movies, dude. Like Saving Private Ryan and The Deer Hunter would totally get an X rating if they were a low-budget exploitation movie, but because there's historical merit behind it, and it's accomplished, and the intent is made clear. But I think that's the other problem too. Half the time, they won't understand the intent. And they're like, okay, you don't care for the filmmaking. That doesn't mean it's bad necessarily. It's just not for you.
Or you have directors who clash with upper management because they can't get what they want done.
Yeah.
And it's like, man.
They just need to stop saying the wrong thing. They just need to nod their head and then not do anything the heads just told them to do.
Yeah, like I found out, I was watching a clip from, Michael Rosenbaum's podcast.
I love that podcast.
I know.
Podcast, if anyone has not heard
it. He had Michael Bean on there, and they were talking Tombstone.
His heart attack was frightening.
I didn't know he had a heart attack.
Me neither.
Yeah, they were talking Tombstone, and he said he hated George, the director.
Cosmatos, who had been fired by Stallone, basically a ghost director, and that's why Kurt Russell hired him, because he was like, we get to take over the movie.
Yeah, and he was talking about how the original cut of Tombstone had backstory on all the wives. There was more story on the gang, and I'm like, oh my God. And he's like, everything was cut that we filmed in 3 months was cut. I'm like, why the fuck? And then he told me, like, how George was very ignorant towards women on set. I'm like, that's great. Like, that's just terrific. I'm like, no wonder he was an asshole. He's like, I said 2 words to him. I said, hello, and I said, fuck you. I'm like, okay, that's my kind of guy.
I love Michael Bean. He has so many hysterical stories about standoffs with, difficult yet accomplished William Friedkin and James Cameron in all these years. But it's just interesting just how Cosmatos, I read Vic Armstrong, the famous stunt guy's book, and he talked about how Cosmatos was hated by his entire Greek crew on Escape from Athena, to where Cosmatos was losing his shit and just crying all day, to where he had to basically take it over. He's like, see, make these actors happy, give some extra lines to Lee Marvin and Roger Moore, and let me shoot all these fucking action scenes, and you go stand over there in the corner, you big baby. And
like, I want my director's cut so bad. It's like, you have the studio's like, oh, you can't do that because we have an X amount of percentage over what you've done, so no, you can't release it. And then you have that one dumbass that's working at the company. You're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm tech savvy. I'm going to upload this bitch on Twitter for 12 hours.
Yeah, if I could see people doing that now, just have Twitch on their phone, just leaking bloopers onto TikTok, because that's the changing form of social media. If people want something to flop, they will do it. I mean, look at how Sony reacted to Morbius. They're like, oh, well, any attention's good attention, so we'll re-release it.
I liked Morbius. It just that final fight was just so lackluster.
I couldn't stand the pacing or way it was shot, dude.
I hated the last fight though because it should have been longer. Like I think he took him down in like 3 hits. I'm like, that should have been a longer fight. The only thing that I was mad about was, well, not even mad. I was just like, I'm wondering if they're going to give him his Spider-Man design where he had the suction in his hands, and they did, and I was like, oh, I missed that.
There was almost as many on finished effects shots as I want to say Cats, but that's too cool.
I saw Cats. That put me to sleep twice in the theater.
Oh man!
And I was so
give me
excited
Batman and Robin any day.
Yeah, I was so excited. I was like, oh shit, Idris is in this. This is gonna be cool. And then I go see it and I'm like, Jellico. I'm like, the fuck's a Jellico?
What is a Jellico? What is a Jellico?
For real, I'm like, this movie, and I give it credit. Like, if you were in the musicals and shit, it's gonna be right up your alley. But if you don't like musicals, you hate everybody involved, you are gonna be pissed as fuck. But Idris is a fucking cat man, though. That was pretty cool.
Now, I would pay to see that. Catman.
He would make a good Catman.
Yes.
Because the Catman is in DC.
Oh, well, there you go. They should make him like that original Stallone superhero Samaritan. Let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
No, I haven't yet. I haven't watched a lot of stuff yet. I'm behind.
Lazy. It's a lazy 2 a.m. movie. It was fun.
Yeah.
The people I thought would like it really didn't like it, and again, the people who liked it were like, it's a one-time watch, and I was like, yeah, a one-time watch is good. It's one of those, because of too many cooks in the kitchen, it's a little longer than it has to be, but at least when it gets good, it's really, really a lot of fun and emotionally rewarding. So I just like the suit design, the setting, and how it gets to business.
Yeah.
It's like, so imagine the Equalizer meets, I want to say a little bit of Daredevil, but less on the crime elements and more on just the super villains. Like, the villains are definitely more Spider-Man-ish.
That's what drew me into In the Name of the Rose, because it was set in an abbey. And it was a detective
I love how
story.
Spider-Man in Name of the Rose brings this all together. I love it.
Like, it's amazing, because I looked at that and I was like, damn, this is a cop drama, but it's set in an abbey. And I'm like, that's interesting. That's really unique. And it was so low budget. And I love my low budget flicks because they always rely on the whole fucking set. The whole area is a big fucking set. They don't have to do a whole lot unless they absolutely have to build something that's needed. It's just, obtaining X amount of wardrobe thing for a set price.
Oh,
and it makes it so cheap. And it's like, damn, this is really good. That's why I love Gabriel. Shit.
Archangel Gabriel, yes, the 2007 one. I mean, I like any of those Death Angel movies. The version in The Prophecy with Chris Walken is so much fun. And I loved how there was some fan films of it that crossed over with Hellraiser. And I was like, see, that's the Dimension Cinematic Universe.
What films crossed over with Prophecy?
It was a fan films of Hellraiser that mixed in the Archangel Gabriel as a villain.
Ooh.
In my mind, though, the Archangel Gabriel is clearly the creature in that lesser Wishmaster 3.
You need to I would say listen to, because I love audiobooks. You need to listen to the Scarlet Gospels.
Please link this to me. I must listen.
It is good.
Is it Neil Gaiman?
No, it's Clive Barker.
Oh,
yeah.
That's Scarlet. Okay, shit.
Yeah, because I read that, I listened to it, and I was like, this is fucking beautiful.
It's poetic.
Especially the final fight, I was like, oh, I need a figure of that.
I need I know there's a short story Mike Mignola and a bunch of other graphic artists did with tales inspired by Barker recently. I've been meaning to pick up, but I think he also did some of the artwork on some of those Hellraiser comics.
Oh wow, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did actually, because that's the one thing I always do when I buy a comic book, depending on what it is. No
Who's
matter
the
what.
artist? Yeah.
Yeah, I will always turn the book over and read it in reverse because I want to see them cut variant covers. Because I'm not spending all that money on variant covers. I went to a comic book store recently, and they had a wall of comics, and it was the new line out is Night Terrors for DC.
Nice.
And Jesus fucking Christ,
I had Travis Bow from Real Comic Heroes on, and we were talking about the comics that were directly inspired by the new movie revamped version of Blade. Some of them were fun in kind of a private eye, gritty, noir way, and then there were others where it was like, hey, okay artwork, but this writing is just very unengaging.
Yeah, I looked at them covers, and oh god, the regular comic is itself, I think, $5 or $6, and then the variants range from $8 to, even 50 or 100, depending on its rarity. And I'm like, I am not spending almost $1,000 on all these covers, because Night Terrors is 20 different tie-ins.
Oh my god.
At least, I think it's at least 20, because I actually saved the ad for it. I was like, somebody commented like, I love DC and I love collecting comics, but that's a lot of fucking issues. And I'm like, I'm going to wait till the collected thing comes out, and then I will either buy it or rent it from the library. Because the only variant that I bought recently was Steelworks #3 by Jerry Gaylord. And I loved his cover because it was metallic. I'm like, ooh, that's a shame. And I actually followed him on Instagram and talked to him for a little bit, and he's really cool. He's cool as shit.
He seems like the kind of guy who would have his own side hustle too, like a lemonade stand or taco restaurant.
That'd be funny. But yeah,
I'm just playing. But
yeah, he told me that he's also doing the variant cover for 6, and he showed it on his Instagram. I'm like, I'm gonna have to get that one too. And he's like, yeah, now. And I told him I had 3 because I tagged him in it, and he liked it. And he said, well, now you'll have the most 2 important issues out of that whole arc. And I'm like, fuck, that's cool. But I'm not reading.
I love it when they do those vague teasing, because it just adds more mystery as opposed to they're just making shit up.
Yeah, it's the Steel Works arc, which is written by Michael Dorn from Star Trek.
I forgot he did a comic.
Yeah, he's doing it now. I'm like, he's writing fucking DC. He's writing about Steel? I have to read this.
Okay, so you know what? I don't believe in guilty pleasures, but I love watching Still. It's such a goofy movie.
It's so dumb, and it could have so much more. It was on
UPN and CW all the time.
Yeah. I love that movie because I looked at that, I'm like, there's so much potential with it, but they fucked up because you got Shaq. You got Shaq, you got Judd Nelson, who fits in with almost any fucking role just about. I forget who the chick was in that.
I think it was what's her name?
I don't want to say Michelle Williams.
It was what's her name?
Oh, Téa Leoni.
Téa Leoni was not in there. It was the other gal, like Martin Lawrence. I don't know how we got on. Annabeth Gish from X-Files was in it, but yeah. Then I remember Hill Harper was one of the gangbangers, and having Shaft himself as Uncle Joe, that was hysterical. Okay.
Annabeth Gish, Judd Nelson, Richard Roundtree, Irma Paul.
Murdoch from Rambo 2 was the Colonel. That was funny.
Kevin Giroux in this? Oh, shit.
Yeah, our Underworld guy.
Wow.
Well, I guess it was Annabeth Gish, which is weird. I swear it was Martin Lawrence's girlfriend from Bad Boys. Oh, well.
Wow.
Learn something every day. Okay, well, so when is the Blu-ray of Still coming out? Never. Damn it. Oh my god, I forgot it was by the creator of V and Alien Nation.
Oh, wow.
I learn something every day.
Oh, no, right?
I miss those days though, where they would get just anybody. Have you directed 30 hours of TV? Yeah, okay, good. We'll give it to you.
Oh, speaking of Alienation and going back to basic franchise, Alienation and Highlander literally have the easiest rules in their fandom. Like Highlander, you can be immortal. If you lose your head, you're dead. In Alienation, the aliens have become part of the population, and they love drinking sour milk because it makes them drunk. It's so easy.
You can do that.
Whatever happens to easy shit? Everything
easy
is
crossovers, man.
Yeah, and not
Next
even
week
just
on the Dead Zone.
It's not just about the crossover factor. It's the fact of how easy it was to make the fucking franchise. And it's so simple. It's like you have your set, you have your characters, you have their powers or no powers, their rules, and what they can and can't do. And it's so simple. And now everything is so complex and shit. The basicality is gone. It no longer exists. And I hate that. It's so sad.
Oh man, just cross everything with comics now, guys. If you can have a fucking Xena and Evil Dead crossover, you can do anything.
There are Xena comics, actually.
I know. There was one with Evil Dead, because Sam Raimi.
Yeah, and Hercules, too.
Oh, I didn't know about that. But if you can have, there's so many great. This is why we do those movies to comics, comics to movies specials from time again. There are so many great ones out there. There's great Terminator and Indiana Jones ones. There's so many great Blade Runner, RoboCop, and Star Trek ones. But then there's, again, The Boys is showing that TV is where you really want to flesh out and even parodize the genre to begin with. Dump it on its ass. And so I don't know why people want to shy away from it.
I don't know. It's weird. Like, I love The Boys. Dynamite really hit it good on Amazon.
Amazon gets it. Amazon has shown with Bosch, The Expanse, Reacher, Jack Ryan, Invincible, all these other cartoons and just meta comedies.
Yeah, they know what the fuck they're doing. And you have, DC will always be number one for me. But I will always enjoy the other companies. You have IDW, and they're doing their own
thing. Like you say, it's like Marvel and Disney are buying these troll bots half the time. They're almost as bad as the Ukraine guys messing with the election. It's just like, it's just like, who are you fuckers, and where do you go? And I've heard nothing but great things about Mike Mignola, which is more than I can say about every other artist who seems to be a real piece of work, or they're a great. I forget who it was. There was this one guy who was a great artist, but was like sexually harassing every intern. I think you brought it up one time, but it was just one of those where I'm just so sick of the guys. I don't understand. I am tired of the ones who are geniuses, but just horses' ass just to work with day in and out. Is like, that's almost like supporting the bully. Is like, you should be able to find someone who can be over the top and a cool guy to work with.
That's why when you look at Star Trek and you look at each cast from every era, especially TNG, they're a fucking family. And how
that's a good point.
They support each other, and there was so much fun. And then it gets to the point where it's like, oh my God, you can actually identify with them because they have that fatherly and motherly and home happy.
That's what Naren Shankar, who wrote most of the Data episodes on that, and Raul D. Moore wrote most of the Klingon episodes, went on to do Battlestar and For All Mankind and Good versus Evil show. But Naren Shankar I admire because he has been a great rule breaker. He was the showrunner on CSI, which I admit, compared to the other ones, all the other shows missed the point. That show, those first few seasons made those guys feel like a family before it just became fancy Jerry Bruckheimer, visual porn. But Naren Shankar wrote for the new '90s Outer Limits, and he knew how to break the rule on that, because the unwritten rule in that writer studio was no time travel. And given his science background, he was able to justify every bit of it. And now that he's done the showrunner on The Expanse and made both fans of the book and fans of the show happy, and even got rid of a character because the actor was apparently being a real thug to everyone behind the scene.
I still got to finish The Expanse.
It's really good.
I know.
But
I left off with the proto form.
Oh, okay, so you got a ways to go, but like that is definitely the king of binging TV. But I look forward to what he'll do next, because I know he's gonna. All these guys are very calculated. Like, they are not going to fire their rocket jet fuel until they're actually ready for takeoff.
No.
And some people are opinionated, and that's okay too. I always hear about David S. Goyer excusing himself from a movie or TV show. That's okay. He's a very opinionated man, and he's a cool writer in his own respect. So what am I going to talk shit about him for? He's cool.
I want to meet so many different people and ask them the questions nobody ever asks them, because they always get bombarded with the same bullshit. Like, oh, what was your favorite episode to direct? Oh, do you like this franchise over the other one? Oh, did you want to be on this project to begin with?
Oh,
Who
my
do you hate
God.
most? I'm like, shut the fuck up. Pick an easier question. Like, David S. Goyer, what's your favorite cup to drink out of? And he's like, I have to think about that. There you go. You have to think, because it's something you never hear.
We need to hear it more, in a way.
Yeah. You need to hear more shit. It's like, what is your meal prep for when you do a film? How do you meditate on a film? How do you devise your script? How long is the script itself? Can I please see a side view of the script itself? Because I want to see how thick that bitch is.
Yeah. Let me inside. No pun intended.
Yeah, I've asked Straczynski that numerous times. Like, how many pages was B5 altogether?
He has been very unresponsive lately. He does not like getting technical. Like, you ask him what are the compliments on every other ship, you pretty much got to go to the unofficial games he didn't approve. I'm like, well, Warner Brothers approved it, so I'll go with their take, because each time we ask you how many people are on this ship or that ship, you're just like, as many as the plot dictates. I'm like, no, give me a number. 300, 400, come on.
I think he did mention how many pages it was for one thing, and I was like, that's a lot. Because I'm always enamored by the little details and shit. Like, when I watched B5 for like the second time, I picked up on little things. Like, he got away with so much back then. The rations that Franklin and Garibaldi were eating were Nutri-Grain bars with fucking neon green tape on them.
That is amazing. Oh my
I know.
God.
I recognize.
I would buy that. I would so buy that.
Yeah, I did.
I might eat cereal again.
Yeah, I saw that shit. I'm like, I saw the bar. I'm like, that's a fucking Nutri-Grain bar. I was like, you clever bastard.
I'm surprised B5 fans haven't caught on to that yet. We might need to bring that up in some of the groups.
Yes.
But Straczynski, I think that's why he's been so successful as a screenwriter. People asked him, where have you been? He's like, I've been busy writing comics. I just got into movies because I've been mostly a TV guy. I think because he's able to even digress and even poke fun at himself, saying, yeah, that monologue took too long or wasn't as clever as it was on paper. But he's good at also just throwing everybody a bone while also being so heavily influenced by so many other comic book writers, poets, and even music. He speaks to all these formats because he adapts to whatever high ground he's on.
Yeah, that's how I roll. Like, I've adapted.
You wrote Spider-Man and Superman. That alone gives you points in my book. So
yeah, and he's working on Captain America too.
Oh, right now?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, wow.
The last I checked, he was working on Cap. Because somebody asked him, he's like, is it hard for you to kill characters like Superman, Spider-Man, or Captain America, or there's on B5? And he's like, what kind of monster asked that question? Oh, it's so funny.
That's awesome.
But it is a valid question, though.
Well, because I think they're in the mode of so many other people have been bastards about that. Like, we saw what a dickhead Josh Whedon was about, hey, if you like it, I'm going to kill that character. I'm like, you dickhead. Do that because the plot demands it, not just because you're a sociopath.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, man. That's some fun shit, man. Too bad he turned out to be a fucking weirdo.
I had heard horror stories about him before, but that just kind of isolated it. I think my main issue was don't pretend to be a feminist and then write strong female characters. And it was like James Cameron believed in making Sarah Connor and Ripley badasses, so don't you do this whole, I just want Buffy to be cool because it looks cool. So I really am surprised he wasn't a pedophile in addition to all that other fucked up shit he did.
Well, I heard that he couldn't be alone with Michelle Trachtenberg back then. I'm like, really? Okay.
Yeah. And all those writers were so talented. They'd all worked on all the X-Files and 24 and Lost franchises and
fucking Lost.
Yeah, I'm not a Lost guy.
I liked it. I liked that series, but oh man,
that
never
ending.
again.
Oh,
not even the ending. That surprised the shit out of me because that was the first time watch for me. I'd never watched it when it came on TV.
I swear, I promise you, we'll do a special on it. I think so. There's a question: who's a bigger full of themselves, Josh Whedon or David Lindelof? Because Lindelof, I know, disabled his Twitter because people kept asking him Prometheus questions. And it's like, you conjured all this shit up, dude. Don't go, oh, I don't want to answer it.
Well, some people like to keep secrets, and I get that. Like,
I understand secrets, but this was a very obvious, like, what does it mean?
I can actually compare secrets to Taz from WWE. And
Not the Tasmanian Devil?
Damn. No, Tasmanian Devil. I wish, but no. It was on Dark Side of the Ring, season 4, where they were doing the episode on Bam Bam Bigelow.
Not the Moon?
No, it's a damn shame, too. But he was talking about how they did his spot where Bam Bam suplexed him into the ring and the ring collapsed. And he was like, man, I feel so dirty talking about this and revealing secrets because I'm old school. And I'm like, I totally fucking get that. Because there are a lot of old heads that don't want to reveal any fucking secrets. And then there's those who will be like, oh yeah, I totally did that. And I'll explain how I did that. And Taz talked about that twice. He talked about it once on AEW Unrestricted and then in Bam Bam Bigelow's episode.
Now you want me to wishing Kevin Nash was a superhero instead of a supervillain.
I love Nash's brain. He's so intelligent about shit.
He is a great guy.
Yeah, he is. He's so homey. He's not like an egotistical asshole.
Hell, instead of giving a Continental spinoff of John Wick, just have a spinoff of his bodyguard character in John Wick.
That would be fun. But Nash wouldn't be able to do a whole lot because he's so much older and he's to take care of his body.
Oh, that's fine. He just has to pick up a gun and shoot someone. That's okay. Roddy Piper can just say his classic line and do nothing else, then he can do the same.
True.
So these movies are all a lot of fun. They're really way more liked than people even give it credit for. I noticed the people who never liked Hellboy, aren't into monster movies, which makes me wonder why they even bothered. And the people who didn't even... I had pals who just saw the trailer of 2019 and said, I'm not even seeing it. I'm like, the trailer is not the movie.
The trailer is the most misleading shit ever.
I never watched the trailer. There's no point.
I do. I love the trailers.
I know you do, but I don't. It doesn't have that Don LaFontaine, you gotta see this. I'll do it if it's like a Lionsgate or Universal movie and I get there early, but most of the time they just play too much like auto-tuned rap and dubstep, and I tune out. Doesn't work for me. But
yeah, I get that. But I like the trailers because then it's like you watch the movie, you see those scenes, and then it's like, oh, they were.
I'll watch it if it's a comedy.
There.
I'll watch a comedy trailer just to see if I even want to waste 2 hours of my life on that. And usually all the funny stuff, which isn't even funny in the final cut, makes it in there. Or that just tells me, oh, there isn't anything to this movie. It's just people joking about each other's tits and beating each other up. Okay, got it. Another shitfest from Kevin Hart and The Rock, ladies and gents.
American Pie franchise.
Oh, there you go. Yes, the billionth comedy college comedy.
God, the last one of that I watched was, I think, Beta House.
Oh
I
my
think.
God.
Yeah, that was like the last one I watched.
Oh my God, from 2007.
Yeah,
Shit.
and that was I had the unrated version of that because everything was unrated for American Pie. I was like, fucking hey.
You got to.
And it just, I don't know. It wasn't. I don't know. I can't remember how I felt about it. Man.
Christopher McDonald was in it. Oh my God. Yeah. Get that money, baby.
But like, yeah, American Pie ended. The reunion movie was all right. It just didn't hit the same as the trilogy. That shit was so funny. Suck me, beautiful. Like, that shit don't work, man.
It does not work. We did not talk that way in life. Oh my God.
Like, wow. What 3 words do women want to hear out of a man's mouth? Suck me, beautiful. Like, yeah, no. It looks a little cold today.
Oh man. I'm waiting on the next clever college comedy, and hopefully it's by some of these guys who worked on crazy horror and sci-fi movies.
I don't really want any more fucking high school shit. I'm so tired of
Oh yeah, high
shit.
school is done. But like if they can do like a proper like making fun of professors and education, I think they'll hit a nerve. They'll actually connect with today's timeline instead of, oh, let's get laid, let's do drugs.
It's just so boring. It's like, that's why I hate hentai, because all it is high school oriented shit and rape. I'm like, I'm
God.
good. Fuck that. I'm good.
Anime.
I love anime, but
I know. I can't
stand
anime is at its best, I find, when they go with a steampunk or crazy apocalyptic.
Definitely.
Horror scope. Instead of, hey, let's just do something weird that's nightmare fuel for all those high school kids not getting enough sleep.
Yeah, like the best animes I've seen have usually been 90s and 2000s oriented, usually.
Concur. Would you like to see a Hellboy anime in the future? I know they're doing the Lord of the Rings anime.
Oh, definitely. Hellboy anime would be good. That'd be really fun.
They can get
by the right studio.
Get the Akira Ghost in the Shell guys, please.
Oh, or the guys who did Redline. That was a good fucking movie.
Redline. Okay, I haven't seen that one. Is that more?
That's
recent?
a good anime. I love that. That was great shit.
I'm looking it up now. Okay, Japanese animated science. Oh wow.
Yeah, it's really fucking wild.
That's something though. When you name your planet Fist Planet, sounds off color.
Hand over fist.
Fist. He is fisted to death. Okay, I'm done. So Oreo, where can we find you on the interwebs other than Twitter and Facebook?
You can find me on YouTube under my name, Oreo Brewer. I'm almost 700 subs.
Boom. You love doing various fight configurations, comparing stats of characters in fiction.
Book reviews, movie reviews, TV show reviews, toys, all
lots
that
of food and disc unboxing, physical media forever, baby.
Yep, definitely. You can
I've
also
been running into some crazy Blu-ray errors recently where it seems like they just stopped playing, and I've been told by some people you want to make sure to turn off the live or internet connection sometimes, because sometimes that fucks with the disc.
Oh, joy.
I don't know what that is. I think it's just it's never been open since 2009, and now biting us in the ass. I don't know.
You can also find me on Wattpad under Immortal Beloved 89.
What?
Read some of my work. Give me some feedback because I need it. My erotica collection's almost at 90,000 views.
It's over 9,000.
90,000. Almost.
90,000. Oh shit.
I know. I was like, how the fuck? I'm watching this number go up, and I'm like, damn. People like my erotica. All right. Nice.
Do it, baby. Do it.
Well,
So you've heard it from yours truly. The next Anne Rice, not Daniel Steele. Who's the other? Red Shoe Diaries guy himself, Oreo Brewer. Yep. In anime form. Oh my god.
Who the fuck was that? Me. It's me.
I'm the problem.
It's a me, not Mario.
It's a me, a Taylor Swift.
Oh my god.
Did you hear she bought Elvis's toilet for $2 million?
No, but that doesn't surprise me because what won't she do?
Oh no. She won't go black.
You know, I am waiting for another celeb to be whitewashed and have to do a Gina Rodriguez type apology. I'm sorry for pretending to be black, brothers and sisters. Oh, shut up. You're still acting black. Stop with the bro, yo.
Oh, I hate people who do that. I'm like, it's like, stop saying bro so much. It's dumb.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I find it funny when Ida Race calls white guys who suck at rapping wiggas. That's just funny. Because those guys suck. White guys should just not rap. Just saying.
Or an Eminem hater. Eminem's different. He's in a class by himself.
You know what? There's Eminem and there's Vanilla Ice. Pick your poison.
Yeah. I like Vanilla Ice. I'll still listen to his shit.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go.
Go.
Maybe Hellboy needs a rap like that. Go Hellboy, go Hellboy, go.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening. It's a jacked up